Do we all do the hi, we're Gracie?
Hi.
Ready.
Hey, we're the boys.
Hi, we're Grace.
And we're here today for episode 2 of Getting Wasted on You, brought to you by Heaps Normal, where we chat shit and get some hot tips from your favourite bands on everything music, gig culture, and of course how to not get wasted on someone. Today we're joined by the Buoys. Yay. Let's jump into it.
Cool. So we should start. There are 2 of the boys here. Who do we have with us?
I'm Hillary, I play guitar.
I'm Zoe and I do the sing and also play guitar.
In your, it's the Red Flags video clip. It seems like you're all kind of playing like caricatures or like, are those representative of your teenage selves at all?
True.
Yeah, you're a goth. You're a goth. You're a goth.
Oh, well, yeah.
Hillary's wearing the science yeah. So like, are those representative at all of you guys as teenagers?
I was definitely a nerd, but I grew up in a country town, so you had to play sport in order to have like any social capital. So I did rep soccer and all of that. So yeah, yes, but also
no.
If anything, and this probably just goes to show how much I've spent my life discovering myself, it was kind of a reflection of the multiple personalities I had. I went through all of those phases except girly girl, but like this like being like sport. Being sport.
I am sport.
That's the tagline of this.
I am health. Being sporty to fit in, you know, and then I had a real hardcore emo phase. I was in a hardcore band before I started Buoys. So.
I think because Tess isn't here, I think she'd resent being.
Oh yeah, so true.
Identified as a girly girl.
Yeah.
Even
Full
though
disclaimer, that is not a reflection of.
she was a horse girl.
She was a horse girl.
Oh,
Which
the horse
I think is an adjacent character.
Yeah.
I agree.
I was too. I was really obsessed with Saddle Club.
Oh, true.
I like collected all the books, but only through garage sales, which is like a real accomplishment that you're not even finding in a bookstore.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Did you ever have the Saddle Club PC game?
No. There was a PC.
There was. So did you ever have Scholastica?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got it from that, and I never was able to finish it because it froze on the last level. And this is back before Google. No, seriously, terrifying.
That's the worst.
You tie up your horse at the bottom of the hill, and you go to walk to the top of the hill, and it would just freeze. And
oh my god!
You never got up the hills.
No, I never got up that hill, and this is before Google existed.
It was just waiting somewhere.
As a fully formed adult, I googled this just to see if anyone else had this problem, and apparently like 50% of the CDs had this same glitch, so I wasn't alone. But I thought maybe,
You could start a support group.
Yeah.
We did talk briefly about Splendor earlier. Now, I have a photo. I want to show you guys this photo. Can you guys tell me a bit about this photo?
Oh wow.
So, do you recognize
For people at home, we'll have this photo
I'll
up
put
for
that
you
on.
guys.
Next. That's a really cool photo.
Yeah, it's a great photo of you guys. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see 2 people.
Oh my god.
I love your face. Sorry, it's just really funny because my mum is also in this.
Oh!
If you look in the bottom left corner, I was like,
Wait,
That's not my
she's got her phone camera.
Oh, good. That's so nice.
She's standing behind.
So, what was it like playing Splendor in 2022?
Oh, a whirlwind of emotions. Whirlwind, because we were meant to play like 2 sets, and so the big day, the debut was on the Friday, which was of course cancelled because of the weather. But what that led to was us just having an amazing makeup gig at the Rails in town that night, and then also playing at the Byron Brewery tent. Which was such a little mud pit. So to see that many people literally just happy to like be knee deep in mud was really cool. And we just decided that we were going to be the most hectic punters for that weekend. We saw as many bands as possible. We like stayed as late as possible. We ate a lot of salmon.
Yeah, I got stuck in a sinkhole at Stingray. I was like losing my mood. I didn't want to leave the tent. Anyway.
Yeah, how to get your foot out without getting your foot out of the boot.
It's not the kind of pit you're normally stuck in. It's
But yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
But it was really enjoyable. But it was pretty hard to lose that big stage and see how many people were there waiting. Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, it's definitely an absolute dream of ours to be included on that lineup. So it was great that we were able to play at the brewery.
Yeah.
But yeah, quite the whirlwind.
Yeah.
An emotional roller coaster.
I remember like because me and Em were volunteering, so we were working at like the ticketing, and we both went on like a quote unquote bathroom break to try and like go past the stage that you guys are playing at.
Nice.
And I think that was actually when we found out that the day got cancelled, and it was like
right on.
everyone was so heartbroken. We walked past and massive crowd of people at that tent waiting, and I was like, where are they? I was like, someone get them up there.
We kept yo-yoing between like that many people waiting to watch us. Yeah, it's amazing. That's also really sad we didn't get to do it. But that's amazing that they came, but it's also really sad we didn't get to do it.
Like I said, my parents were
Yeah.
there. Big moment. Anyway, we're on our way to the Splendor site and we received the call that it wasn't happening. So I just called them up because I was like, hey, you know, the day's being cancelled, don't worry about coming in. They're like, what do you mean? We're here, there's people everywhere. Everyone's having a great time. And I was like, we're partying right now, what do you mean?
Yeah, I think that Byron Bay Brewery was my first Buoys show ever.
Really?
Yes.
That's so cool.
First of many now. But
Speaking of first shows, this is a throwback. Zoe, can you tell me anything about El Sol?
Oh my gosh. Is anyone here from the Shire?
Well,
I lived in the Shire for a year.
Well, we technically played our third show at El Sol.
No way! So like, cause back in the day, we would play at El Sol like Wednesdays and Sundays, and that was like the place to be.
Yeah.
Everyone would be there every Wednesday and Sunday. It was the one place in the area that young people could go and see live music for free, which is a big deal because the only other venues in the Shire, ticket pricing was usually pretty expensive because the cost stuff associated with it. But yeah, I played my first show at El Sol she was then called Stay at Home Mum. But she's now Ruby Fields.
Wow! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa, that's some deep lore.
Yeah. This is Cronulla lore. So
Wow.
Rubes and I used to like see each other about town, heaps because there were no back then we would say I say chicks. There's no chicks on stage. And so I was at all of her first shows.
Wow.
So she started off doing solo stuff, and then she got a band together. But I was at every freaking show because like I was like I need to do this, and eventually I did.
Yeah.
And it was at El Sol.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
wild. Yeah, because it closed down pretty recently.
Yeah.
Which
So
was very sad.
more Cronulla lore. I actually
Deep dip.
started a petition that got enough signatures, and I was able to present to council. I ended up picking apart, so because they ripped it down to build apartments. So I ended up just becoming, in the space of 6 months, an expert in like council and state building laws.
Wow.
And I managed to get the project delayed, maybe only by a few months. They've got lawyers, I'm just one person. But I would just be like, your bins are actually 1 meter too close to the gutter and they can't be under a ledge.
Oh, fuck.
And
This
so-
is literally
You're on the nightmare.
No, it's like normal heroes wear capes.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Back then there were. There's like, where are the women on stage? And it's like, you still feel like you're hearing that a little bit. Like even in the inner west, still like, we play on so many lineups where it's like we're the only band that has any female representation, and we're like the little token band opening up the night. But how is it now seeing like someone like Ruby Fields and all those big bands kind of have so much power and standing in the industry?
I mean, just even as a friend, I get so emotional every time I see Ruby on a big stage because, like, she deserves it. She's so incredibly talented. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about her. Love you, Ruby. I'm not crying, you're crying. But for me, it was really special playing with Teenage Jones. So we had never met them before. We'd video called them.
Oh yeah.
We were in the Hottest 100.
We were consecutive.
Oh, that's so cool.
Hottest 100.
So we gave each other a call. I loved seeing them play live because the amount that they've been able to accomplish at such a young age,
Incredible.
and the presence that they hold on stage, which like they hold the space for that energy, which is like, fuck you, we're gonna do what we want and have fun while doing it, and I admire them so much. And then that just whole lineup was filled with just sweet, beautiful people. Like that was a fun one.
I think what was really exciting and has been exciting as we've done more and more gigs is the ability to be able to choose crew and then be just a little bit more mindful, like, you know, is our team all men, or is there, you know, other people involved. And I think for that gig we had Ian Trickett, who's just an incredible sound engineer. They did sound for Eliza and Delusionals as well.
Yeah.
And they're a Sydney local as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful. It's cool how you're going from being the token open band, right, to now when we can choose our team, the priorities are like, okay, who are we going to have around us, including the bands who we play with. It's like, how can we build this around us so that everyone's going to feel safe and included. It's really lovely.
Yeah, and it's always a process of learning and unlearning and stuff like that. Like
100%.
we're, always trying to negotiate, where our values lie. And,
Recently, you guys had the pleasure of launching the Women's NRL, Fox League. I was just going to ask you what that experience was like advocating for women's sports and being basically the face of that, all the pyrotechnics and the fireworks in the background.
So surreal.
So when I first joined the Buoys, right, I went to I had to audition. Anyway, so I rock up to Zoe's house and
we had just
4 members, including the previous guitarist, were all in a separate corner, and they all introduced themselves so fast. I was like, I'll just never learn your names like that. But I was like, yeah, and then they're like, what are your views on Castor Semenya?
Oh my god.
And I was like, oh wow, a band
were they holding a queer contest?
That's to sport. So I was like, fantastic. And I was like, oh well, I was just listening to this podcast about the AFLW, and then of course the Castor Semenya news headlines came up, and they were discussing. They're like, oh no, we're not actually that sporty. We just want to know are you a bigot? And then I was like, oh well, most bigots don't self-identify. Obviously,
But me on the other hand.
Obviously, I want to say no, but then I'm like, is that anyway? But it was but yeah, I think gender and sport. Obviously, a lot still to be done. The Women's World Cup's on at the moment for soccer. And it was a real privilege to be involved in this advertisement for the NRLW.
Yeah, I guess the hook of our segment, thanks to lovely Heaps Normal, is don't get wasted on him, don't get wasted at all.
But do listen to Get Wasted on You.
But listen to our song.
Because it's a banger.
Thanks.
It's such a banger. It's so good.
I'm honoured that you guys have listened to it. I think there was no expectation, but
I'm a big, obviously because I write lyrics, but I'm a big, one thing that'll hook me to a song are the lyrics. And who, you write the lyrics?
yes.
All jam.
So good.
You're gonna make Jam cry.
I guess that's our kind of tagline for all of this. Do you guys have any self-love or self-care advice to not waste your time on someone?
Yeah, do you have any unsolicited advice for your
Potential disaster.
Our whole discography. Literally.
Just listen to the EP.
Every song, well not every song, but I have noticed there is a really common theme, and it's talking about people wasting your time or confusing you. And I think my biggest self-love, unsolicited advice for your DIY disaster is trust your gut, because I feel like your gut can just tell you so many things. I don't know, I've ignored my intuition so many times and always been proven right. And so now I'm just rather than ignore the intuition and I don't know, I just put yourself first as well is a huge one. You're not selfish for putting yourself first. And if someone is treating you quite shittily, don't be afraid to if you want to tell that person you're treating me poorly. And if you don't want to, it's also very cool just to bar them and never talk to them again. You get to decide how people affect you. Easier said than done, but if you can put whatever power you have into that and then put yourself first, that's probably my biggest take out. I'm hungry.
We're coming to the end. The very last thing, can you give us any insight into what the rest of the year looks like for you guys? Is there any
I think
is there anything you can sprinkle in for us?
What?
In September,
Oh my god.
we are recording our debut album.
Huge.
So excited.
Wow.
That's nuts.
That is so
so
exciting.
cool.
I'm so excited to listen to it.
Yeah.
Is it for you now?
Yay!
Yeah.
Merry Christmas! Thank you so much for coming, chatting, hanging.
And where's your next show?
Sidefest, is it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Huge.
In Yangin, Brisbane.
Yeah,
Cool.
And then while you're up in Perth. And then
Radley.
National tour. Because we had to skip Adelaide for the ballpark tour.
Yeah.